everyone. Welcome to Just Enough for this summer. I hope that these videos offer you just enough strength, flexibility, time on your mat to feel grounded and to keep up with your yoga practice. Thank you for joining me for the ride. So we're going to start laying down, so come all the way down to your back. So you'll just start like so. Maybe you'll want to have blocks underneath your thighs. Could be a nice option. And just set yourself up so that you're comfortable. Feeling your way into the practice is really important, right? I don't know where you're practicing. It might be, in your living room. It might be that you got yourself away from life as you know it. And you're vacationing, but the important thing is to just give yourself some permission to be in your practice, right? So let everything else kind of fall by the wayside. You can tend to it later, and then just allow yourself this time on your mat. Starting to notice where your body's connected to the ground, all the different weights and sensations, the air on your skin, feeling the body against the ground, and then starting to intentionally slow the breath down, starting to let the breath fill you completely, and then let each exhale be complete. You can use a 3-part breath, filling at the belly and then the rib cage and then the collarbones. And then letting it out, collarbones, rib cage, belly. Maybe there's a little squeeze at the bottom of the belly, navel to spine with your exhale. And then just let that long, slow breathing pattern be a part of your centering while I offer an intention for the practice. So I know that it's summer and a lot of people are headed to Cape Cod, right? The Cape. And so you'll be traveling over the Sagamore and the Bourne Bridges if you are going there. And so it was an interesting little article that came across. I saw that the Cape Cod bridges are up for adoption. Applications due at the end of June. It's such a funny concept, isn't it, right? Adopting a bridge. It's not like I'm adopting a part of a highway. No, it's more like, please come and dismantle and take the bridge when we're done with it. The Army Corps of Engineers has cared for them for 90 years. And the project to replace them, as the project to replace them nears completion, which is projected in 2033, I guess, they're offering the bridges, right? They have to be dismantled and moved elsewhere. They might be repurposed. Fun fact you might not know, London Bridge was repurposed. It was taken apart and brought through the Panama Canal and then to Arizona. It's over by a lake in Arizona. Might be used as an historical preservation way. Anyway, federal law dictates that it must be adopted. It's a really crazy idea, I think. So, you'll be traveling, across the bridge, I'm sure, over the summer, many of you. And so I started thinking a lot about bridges, right? Bridges are the connectors for us, right? The space between one grounded part of our life to another, right? And so it's summer, so it's really fun to consider these bridges, those gap closing elements in our lives that leave us once we get to the other side feeling transformed. So it got me thinking, and I feel like it's a great time to talk about breath, right? Because in yogic texts, breath or prana is the primary metaphysical bridge which connects us, right? It closes the bridge between body and mind. So by adjusting our breath, we cross into the nervous system. And it allows us to reach desired states of consciousness, right? And that's not a bridge you're going to be dismantling anytime soon. That is too precious, right? So this practice today is really about the breath and honoring that you have the tools to cross into the state of consciousness that is desired, right? By slowing the breath down like you are now. So with that as our intention, we'll slowly bring our hands to heart center and we'll begin the practice with a gentle Om. Take a breath in. Good. Releasing your hands. Move anything that you have as support. And take yourself knees into chest. We're going to start with hugging the knees in and setting up for a little wind removing pose. So take both knees in. You can rock a little side to side. And then set up for wind removing pose. Right knee in, left leg extended. Right, stay with that beautiful breath that you created. Good, release the grip and start to rock the knees side to side. Right, so you're massaging out that hip right now. You've squeezed it nice and tight with the wind removing pose, and then you can release it and let the fluids kind of massage out the hip socket. Let's take the right knee out to the right and come into a half happy baby. This might be hand behind thigh. Maybe you're comfortable grabbing the foot, right? Take some variation if it's comfortable. And then let go of whatever you're holding and take it over. Whoop, moving my blocks into a gentle twist, right? We're not trying to touch down. We're just letting that knee kind of hang out. Maybe you're gazing over your back arm. Coming back to center, both knees come in, a little gentle rock. And then let's go to the other side. Right leg extended, left knee in. Right, so big, deep wind removing pose. Good, let go of the grip and rock it out side to side. Right, just massaging out that left hip. Good, left knee goes left and come into your half happy baby. Remember, a grab behind the thigh is really nice, right? We're just trying to stretch out at the adductor. Give the hip a little extra tension. Good, release and come into the gentle twist. So the right hand guides the left knee over, your left shoulder's on the ground, your left hand can be palm up. Maybe you're gazing over your back shoulder. Float yourself back up and take the knees in. We're going to set up for some core work. The first core thing we'll do is what I call air chair. So knees are over hips, shins parallel to the ground. Place the hands right on the thighs, push away and pull in. Right, so you're trying to press low back and hips down. Good, release, rock it out a little. We're going to do one-sided air chair. Left hand on left thigh, send your right leg down. So really engage that right leg and right foot. Really engage here on the left side. With your inhale, bring it up. With your exhale, lower it down. Good, last one. When that leg comes down to a hover, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, hug it in. A little rock side to side. Rinse everything out. Right hand on right thigh. Left leg goes all the way down. Left leg is engaged, right? You're engaging here at the right thigh with the hand. With your inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. The next time you have that foot down there, let it hang out for 5, 4, 3, 2, hug it in. Good, a little rock side to side. We're gonna set up for a boat pose, right? So hands can come right behind the thighs. Take a little bitty rock up and set yourself up for a boat pose. So you're leaning back into like an invisible chair and send the arms out. Good, and then come into a tall seat. We'll open up at the neck. So lift up tall, let your right ear come down to your right shoulder. Good, and then down, chin to chest, and up to the other side. Good, and then back down, and then lift your head up nice and tall. We're gonna make our way into, actually all the way down to the floor. I'm gonna take us into what we call broken wing. So I'm gonna move my little cord here. We're gonna come down onto our bellies and let our arms get super wide, like a cactus arm on the floor. Keep that there, nice and wide. So we're going to just simply take the right hand to where the right elbow was. Can you see that? I'm not really moving anything else. My left forearm is going to stay glued to the ground. Right hand comes here, and then I lift up. And then from here, I'm going to push down. That might feel okay. It might feel okay enough that you want to lift yourself onto that left hip. Right? You can decide, maybe you would like, no, thank you. You want to stay low. And then come back down. Let's go to the other side. Left hand goes to where the left elbow just was, right forearm stays there, and then you can push that right shoulder down. Maybe you're coming up onto your hip, and maybe not. Good, coming back down. You can bring your hands right in a little stack underneath your forehead, and you can rock a little side to side with the feet. Bend the knees, let the feet go side to side. We're going to set up next for a forearm plank, a little forearm plank and then a heart opening series. So let your hands be clasped kind of in the middle of the mat, and then set yourself up for your plank pose, right? Try not to dip the hips down or lift the hips up, right? Breathing. Good, drop the hips down. We're going to come into Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx pose, the elbows are right underneath the shoulders. The hands are wide. And we're trying to send our heart space beyond our biceps. So energetically, it's like a pull back. The hands go down and they're pressing down, and the heart space is lifting forward. Right, we're doing all of these heart openers here today to fill our beautiful heart space where our heart chakra is element of, which is air. Good, and then go ahead and take it into a puppy pose. So puppy pose, also known as anahata, kind of opens up here, right, our heart space in yoga. And what we're trying to do is squeeze the shoulder blades together. So the hands stay way far forward. And you're lifting up, you're gonna have a little bit of a cow curl up at the top of your tailbone. Your head comes down and your shoulder blades are squeezing together. Good, and then slowly float yourself up. You can walk in a little bit with your knees. We're setting up next for a little cat and cow. So come on in. We did not do any counter poses for the core work that we did earlier. So we'll start with an extended cow pose. So lift the tailbone, drop the belly, lift hand hard, and then energetically push into the heels of the hands and pull the heels of the hands towards the knees. You'll feel some opening in your front side body. And then on your exhale, take it into your cat. And on your inhale, take it into your cow. We'll just do a few of those. Just waking up the spine. Right, make sure you're staying with your breath. Right, yoga is a breath practice. Right, the breath is like an anchor, keeping us here on the mat. Good, come into your neutral spine. Set up for a downward facing dog. So curling your toes, lifting up. Maybe you're pedaling it out a little bit. Coming into stillness, float it forward and find your high plank. You might be like, no, I want a modified plank. That's fine too. And then back you go, downward dog. Right, this time try not to do the pedaling. Instead, try to bend the knees a little extra so you can really lengthen out through the spine. Good, and then float it forward, high plank or modified plank. Good, let's find child's pose. Knees wide, toes touch, hinge back and come into your child's pose. Right, your head is soft, your head is down, maybe your forehead is touching the ground. You should feel comfortable. Good, let's walk our hands over to the right. You can bring your right hand back to your right heel if that feels good. Really focus on that left side body. Push back into the left hip and push down into the left hand. Notice if you can, my left elbow is lifted. Good, and then take it over to the other side. Stay with your breath. Good, and then back into center. We're going to take it into a downward dog and pad our feet up to the top of the mat and roll up to stand. Good. From here, we're going to set up for a Warrior One series. So we're just simply going to take our left foot back. You're going to take the right foot out a little bit to the right and come on up into your Warrior One. Right back leg is straight, front knee is bent. Your hips are squared to the front of the mat, which means your back toes need to dial forward. Good, focusing on those heart openers. So we're going to bring our hands behind us, see if we can squeeze them together. This is a great place for a strap. If you cannot reach your hands, it's a super place just to have a strap on either side there. Woo. Setting ourselves into a humble warrior. So there's a bend in the knee. Maybe you're just coming part way and your hands are resting on your body. But maybe you can keep that squeeze in the upper back and hinge a little farther forward. Maybe your arms come toward the top of your mat. Good, releasing the hands. We're going to set up for a head to knee pose. I know many of you like to use blocks. If that's you, you would have the blocks up by that right leg, and I want you to play with pulling that right hip back and sending the left hip forward. We're going to set up next for a Warrior Three. So come in with your back foot a little bit. We're going to take our upper body and engage The backside body is what's holding us up. I'm going to walk away from my sofa. You can maybe relate, and then when you're ready, lift that back left leg. Good, and then step down. You can shake it out. We're going to go to the other side. So the left foot stays right where it is. Right foot comes back. Right toes are pointing to the top right corner of the mat. And up you go into your warrior one. Good, let's bring the hands behind us and find the opposite clasp. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Right, really look for that opening in the front of the chest. Right, this is kind of like opposite day for most of our lives. Hinging forward, maybe bringing your arms forward, but trying to keep that squeeze. Good, and then let's release into head to knee pose. So remember, if you're using blocks, find your blocks, pull that left hip back, send the right hip forward. And let's come in a little with our back foot. Shift the gaze on the back. And then set yourself up for your warrior three, right? It's all about the upper body, holding the upper body up. If you're struggling with the balance, find something to gaze at and focus on bringing the midline, right? Bringing that inside part of that left foot. Don't roll outward, roll inward. And then step down and shake it out a little bit. Okay. All right, so let's see. We're going to do a little bit of to the balance. Let's come down to the ground. We'll come down to the ground. We'll set up for a little bit of glute work and a reclined pigeon. And of course, because we're talking bridges, we'll do some bridges. So let's take ourselves down and set up for some glute work. So remember, we're going to take our right leg up to the sky. We're going to use our left foot and our left glute. We're going to push down. Make sure your shoulders are down so you have a little extra support, and lift up and down. I think we'll go to 10. Good, lift and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and then cross the ankle on the left thigh and bring the hands behind the left thigh. If you want something more like a deeper stretch, you'll take that left knee left. This is for the piriformis. Good, and let's release. Take the knees into chest. A little gentle rock. Set yourself back up with the feet on the ground. Left leg's going up this time. Using that right glute. Up we go. Up and down. The next time you have the leg up, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2. Cross the ankle on the thigh, drop the hips. Hands go behind the right leg. When you bring the hands behind the leg, the left hand has to leave. Again, on this side, if you want something more, you'll bring that right knee over to the right a little bit. You'll feel a little more sensation. You dial it up or down how you need it today. And slowly release, take the knees into chest, and a little rock side to side. Let's bring the feet to the ground. We're going to set up for our bridge pose. So bridge pose is so incredible for the lumbar vertebrae. It's part of the Yoga for Osteoporosis series. So we want to roll the shoulders down, right? So can you see that? And you can even push the elbows down and let the hands kind of shine over your body. And then there's a lift up, right? So this would be called a slant, right? There's not really much more going on here. What we're looking for is kind of like a roundedness where the heart space is going up toward the chest or toward the chin. So there's a pushing into the heels and a lifting up, and then we kind of shift everything up, right? I might not be able to speak very well because there's a lot of activation going on there at my throat, right? So we're lifted and we're breathing. Good, and then lower down nice and slowly. Let the feet get wide. You can let the knees kind of go side to side. Little release. Good, and then look for your block. Look for a little block. We're going to make sure we have 2 blocks here too. We're going to set up for a waterfall pose, our supported bridge and then waterfall pose. So I consider that the second level of the block and that the first level. Those are the only 2 you should consider. So we're going to put the block underneath the pelvis, which is like the big hip area, right? So maybe that's where you are on the lower level. Maybe you're going up to the second level, right? You decide what feels okay for you. So in the supported bridge, we'll just bring hands to heart center, one on top of the other. You can close your eyes and just think about the bridge, right? That the breath itself, the prana, is a bridge, right? Between body and consciousness, right? It gives you that ability to slow things down. When you slow the breath, you slow the mind, you slow the nervous system, right? And in doing so, you have better health, right? All of those hormones function more optimally. You're just in a better place, right? So just know that you have that as a toolkit as you go through your summer, and it may be every time you're crossing one of those bridges, you can remember, aha, I too have a bridge. Let's go ahead and bring the hands down. If you're not on the lowest level of the block, come on down and then send the legs up for a waterfall pose. Right, opposite day for the body, right, fluids coming down. And let's slowly come down and take that block out of the way. Okay. So from here, we're going to take the knees into chest, right? We always have to have a nice counter pose after we've done a back bend. And then we'll start to rock side to side. I'm just looking over here. I'm a little close to my steps, but it will be fine. We'll take it all the way to the right, let the left knee come down, and then lift that left knee up, come all the way to the left, and let the right knee come down. I do have a bunch of stuff on. Good, so just take it across, right? You're giving yourself that low back and hip massage, right? I'm guessing maybe you haven't had a massage today. This might be the only one you get. Let's take our knees over to the right and let our shoulder come back, left shoulder to the left. Maybe your right hand is holding on to the thigh. If you're feeling like your knee is popped up, it could be really nice to put a block there. You could always just open up in what feels like sweet surrender. Good, and then let's take that block. If you're using it, move it out of the way. Maybe shift the hips before you go to the other side. I should have mentioned you can also use a block underneath the thighs. So you could have like that leg kebab. Just make it comfortable, that's the objective. Good, and then come back up into center, and hop the knees into chest. Let's set ourselves up for coming to a Supta Baddha Konasana. I like that for us. We'll let the soles of feet touch, let the knees get wide, and again, the blocks are here as props to support you. So if you're like, oh, I can't do that, then throw the blocks there, right? That's what they're there for. And you can let the hands rest on the belly or at your heart space, and just we'll pause here for our moment of gratitude. Gratitude for considering the bridges in our lives, right? The opportunities that we have to make that important shift across our own bridge, right? We all know the exhale that we take when we cross a bridge to the cape, right? It's like, oh, how lovely. Lovely's coming, right? It's the same thing when we make that shift with our long, slow, deep breathing for our nervous system. Gratitude for nurturing yourself with your practice, and gratitude for the many, many blessings that you have in your life. Good, let your knees come back up, hug the knees into chest, a little gentle rock side to side, and then set yourself up for your final resting pose of Shavasana. I'm just going to show this to you. I've got the blocks underneath my thighs. If you have kind of a janky low back, that can be nice if you don't have a bolster. That can be really quite lovely. So finding your way into a very comfortable resting position in Shavasana. And staying here in Shavasana for as long as you need.